So today we'll be learning about all the different components and parts of the human nervous system. So we'll review all the different levels of an organism. So it goes from atom to molecule and compound, organelle, cell, tissue, organ systems, and organism. An organism achieves homeostasis by regulation. Regulation is the control and coordination of other life functions. What is the nervous system? It's a system that controls and coordinates functions throughout the body. It responds to internal and external stimuli. Neuron is the nervous cell. Nerve is a bundle of individual neurons wrapped in connective tissue, and neurotransmitters are chemicals that help carry the impulse to next structure. Here's a neuron and a diagram of how neurotransmitters work. Here's the receptors and the neuron, where vesicles containing serotonin are contained in the neuron, and the serotonin come out and connect with the receptors. Stimulus, a change in environment that brings about a response. Impulse, the electrical signal carried out by nerves. And response, a change in the environment that you respond to. The structure of a neuron. The ends of the neuron are dendrites, then in the middle is a nucleus. Then the connection between the cell body and the myelin sheath is the axon. The inside is the Schwann cells, and then there's the node Ranvier and axon terminals. Functions of the neuron. Nucleus contains genetic materials. Cell body is the main nutritional and metabolic region of the neuron. Dendrites receives signals from other cells and sends them towards the axon. And the axon, the long fiber that carries impulses away from the cell body. Here's another diagram on how the nerves work. How neurons communicate. Neurons communicate by an electrical signal called the action potential. Cell membranes have receptor proteins that act as security guards. Action potentials or nerve impulses are based on movements of ions between the outside and inside of the cell. There's two states of the neuron. Resting neuron means there is no impulse, where both gates are closed, resting value of -70. Inside cell membrane is negative and outside cell membrane is positive. An action potential is a reversal of polarities, where it peaks at the +30 and the inside of the membrane is switched to positive and the outside is switched to negative. Action potential, there's three phases: depolarization, repolarization, and hyperpolarization. Depolarization is when the inside of the cell becomes more positive than the outside. Repolarization is when the inside is restored to having a negative voltage. And hyperpolarization is when the neuron can't produce any new AP called refractory period. Types of neurons. Sensory receptors. Direction of impulse begins at the sensory neuron. Examples such as pain. And motor neuron and the nerves. An organ that responds to stimulus. Example, muscle or organ. Sensory neurons. Impulses carried from sensory organs to brain and spinal cord. Sense organs are vision, hearing, taste, and smell. And then there's also nerves and touch from your skin. Interneurons carry impulses between sensory and motor neurons, only in the brain and spinal cord, and it's smaller than the other neurons. Motor neurons. Impulses carried from brain and spinal cord to the muscle and glands. Reflex arc. A pathway an impulse travels to quickly respond and allow immediate withdrawal from the dangerous stimuli. At first, the brain is not used, And once the reflex is activated, a bodily response that is automatic. That's the end of the nervous system. And next lesson is going to be the different parts of the brain.